If I were a Democrat running for office, I would do this. I would be carrying this around all day. Look at what the Republicans are doing to you. Look what Donald Trump's doing to you. Donald Trump said, and by the way, this is for you at home. So come to the at-home camera, TJ. Thank you. God bless you. So good at this. And to think you just started last week. So, I'm joking, TJ. So, TJ, can I get a TJ cam? I hope TJ's in.
Not yet, not this second.
Okay, good.
Wow.
Okay, good.
He's not feeling pretty. He's in his underwear, right?
He's in his underwear at home. He got one of those things at home. I was afraid I was like picking on a director that mattered, but no, TJ's there. So TJ's been with us for 20 years, by the way. He's family. But I
Can't get rid of him.
I would carry this around because see this onslaught headline? The only thing the Post didn't tell you is Donald Trump said, blame me for this. Donald Trump said, kill the bill and blame me for everything that happens after this point. Donald Trump said, blame me. So yes, Donald, we are blaming you. We're blaming Mini-Me Mike Johnson for following your orders. We're blaming Republicans who begged for a tough border bill, but like the Wall Street Journal editorial page said, couldn't take yes for an answer. So yes, there is an onslaught in the southern border still. And it's all Donald Trump's fault. You know who says that? Donald Trump.
Welcome, everybody, to Is This Thing Working? Before we start the show, can you please do us a favor and share the show with all your friends? Also, stomp that like button and please follow and subscribe wherever you see the name and our beautiful purple and yellow banner. Wherever you see the name in our banner, Is This Thing Working? And by doing so, you're helping us to grow. And we, from the bottom of our hearts, we say thank you. Thank you very much. We do this for you, and we do our best to put you in the room of the things that are happening in our world, man. First off, let me get started here with this clip that I just played from Joe Scarborough of the Morning Slow show on MSNBC every morning. If you listen to what he just said and the way that he's trying to frame this, is he trying to say that what happened yesterday at the border was a direct result of what Donald Trump said? Is that what he was saying?
Good morning, everyone. How are you today?
I'm sorry.
It's totally all right.
I'm over here.
He's over here just moving along. Well, that's because we are ready. It's Friday.
Yeah.
It's time for the weekend.
I just had to ask while that was on my brain, man.
As you know already, Fridays are mostly breaking and important headlines that we do during the week.
Right.
So it's one of my favorite days. And we get excited about Fridays because one of the things that we did for many, many years is work Saturdays. So Fridays to us it's really a big deal, but we're going to get over it pretty soon. We work on the weekends, but we have fun with the job that we're doing. So it's not like a weekend thing. You know what I mean? It's just fun.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the first 8 to 10 hours of our day is not literally spent trying to prepare and get a podcast done and get content out. So I get that. Our weekends are ours.
They are ours. And we do clips and we do other things that go along with it and everything. So breaking news today. First thing this morning before the show, Candace Owens is out at the Daily Wire.
Yeah.
So we kind of seen it coming. We've been watching it for a little while. Her contract was almost up. So I'm not surprised that she left because her and Ben Shapiro have been having issues
For quite a while. Even up last year, I believe they had a big stir up. Her and Ben Shapiro did.
They did.
Or was it her and Crowder?
Well, Crowder and her have had their own issues.
Yeah.
But her and Ben Shapiro, I don't know what's up with him. I don't watch the Daily Wire because I think the Daily Wire is rhino-ish. In other words, it tries to be middle, and I don't agree with a lot of Ben Shapiro's stances on things. And Candace Owens is more right. She's more conservative, and she sees things a little differently than Ben Shapiro.
Yes, she does.
You know, but the contrast was really good, I thought, for the Daily Wire. I think it's a loss for the Daily Wire.
Me too, and it's a gain for anybody else that gets her.
Right, yeah, because Candace Owens, she has a big following, and she has the millennials, and you need them.
Well,
She has a lot of conservative millennials that follow her.
Yeah, and Candace is very straight ahead and very honest and very common sense about what she says.
Yeah, and she's a mom, and she's, anyway,
Much
I like
respect
her.
for her.
I
Yeah,
have
me
a lot of
too.
respect for her. Good luck on your next adventure, because I'm pretty sure it'll be good.
And here we go moving forward, because I'm always coming up with my predictions each and every week of what actions are going to be taken at the House and the Senate. We've got the omnibus bill that's setting out here right now. My prediction, as always, every week, has been that whatever action we got going on in the House, whether it's a bill, whether it's a CR discussion, whether it's close the border, whether it's any of the things that the voters truly want, my prediction always is at the end of the week, Speaker Mike Johnson will cave to whatever the Uniparty wants.
Yes.
Here's a good flag. Here's a good red flag for this from yesterday. Thomas Massey said this yesterday. As part of the debt limit deal last summer, Biden agreed to an automatic 1% cut to all discretionary spending if we were still on a CR on April 30th, 2024. Tomorrow, our speaker will give up that leverage and pass an omnibus that spends more than Pelosi in her highest year.
Yeah. Can you believe that? This is a real Democrat want bill. It's all about Democrat wants. This is actually a Chuck Schumer Democrat bill.
Sure.
Period. And they're giving them everything that they want. And you remember those bills, those Ukraine bills that were out there, the border bill that was out there? People are not really talking about this, but a lot of that stuff that was in those bills that the House would not bring up are actually in this bill. So we saw already, we talked about the $350 million to Ukraine and the weapons and all that, you know, and they were only asking for $60 billion in the bill.
Exactly.
I mean, in the original bill, remember, for Ukraine, and now they're asking for 355. So anything that they had asked for in those bills, they have doubled or tripled.
Exactly.
Or more than that.
Exactly.
You know, so this is not good. The conservatives are going to fold. I don't know what the Democrats or the Rhino government firm, who we call McConnell and Schumer and them, they're called the firm. They probably have something on him. I don't know what it is and why he can't listen to the people, but we need you to get on the phone and call your representatives. They need 100 conservative votes in order to pass this bill. Man, please get it down to 99.
Yeah.
98, 97, 96. Let's just knock them off one by one. We need less than 100.
Put the pressure on
Put the
them.
pressure on. Please call your representatives today. This is the worst thing that can happen to America right now with our economy and with these illegal migrants coming on. Anyway, please call. And we're going to talk to you about this other thing with the illegal migrants. You heard about this. But I first missed news that we missed yesterday that came out, and that was only because it came out while we were doing our show. We're going to start with this TikTok video that went viral yesterday. Here, listen.
Turn it up. Meanwhile, a TikTok influencer with more than 500,000 followers is introducing illegal migrants to squatters' rights and telling them how to invade homes in the United States. Mi gente! My people. I have thought about invading a house in the United States because I learned there's a law that says if a house is not inhabited, we can expropriate it. I think that will be my next business. Invade abandoned houses. Okay, they're not abandoned. Somebody's just not in them right now. So what do homeowners do if...
Just a passing thought with that, you might want to go to another state. Don't think you're going to try that here in Texas.
Yeah, that would not go over well here in Texas to have someone show up at one of their properties and a stranger be in it.
Let him learn about castle doctrine.
Yes.
Real quick.
Yep. Yeah, we don't deal with that here in Texas.
And here's another thing. And I'm getting sick of the threats. I'm getting sick of the fear mongering. I'm getting sick of all that kind of stuff. With a guy like this right here, I call your bluff, dude. I say, come on.
Yes, bring it.
Bring it on, man.
Well, one thing that you had brought up earlier, and I thought it was pretty funny because what is it Bannon says all the time?
Be a force multiplier?
Well, he says that too. Please do that. Always be a force multiplier. No, he says
elections have consequences. Stolen elections have catastrophic consequences.
There you go.
There you go.
That's what always happens. That's what did happen, and that's why we have a squatter in the White House.
Yes, we do.
That's what you had pointed out to me earlier.
Yep.
We got a squatter in the White House. So, yes, these people, these Democrats and this White House squatter, he is all over letting them come over here and squat in our homes that we have for sale or rent, or even our property, whether we put anybody in it or not. That is our property.
Exactly.
You don't get to just come in here and take our property, put illegals in our property, put anybody in it.
Exactly.
Somebody needs to do something about this squatter law.
Well, and that's why we played the Joe Scarborough video at the very beginning, because what Joe done was sit there and spend a few minutes spreading the biggest propaganda that he could. These people coming over here, invading our country, crashing our border, has absolutely nothing to do with President Donald Trump. It has everything to do with the wide open border policies of this joke, failed puppet president that we have in office right now.
Yeah. And I wanted to say something about that when he was talking about Donald Trump is to blame for everything, which is their new narrative, by the way. This is the narrative, and this is why we played that for you. Joe Scarborough and Mika Scarborough, they spend the first hour of every morning, Monday through Friday, giving you the narrative of the Democrat Party, no matter what. They say they're Republican. They say they're conservative. They're pretending.
Well, sure. And let's see what the narrative is throughout the weekend. I guarantee you it's going to be this right here. They've set the narrative.
Everything Donald Trump does or anything that the Democrats do, it's Donald Trump's fault. He said this. Listen, he spoke this. And it doesn't matter if it's about the border, if it's about the spending that's happening right now, because I tend to think that they were talking about that as well. Anything that happens from here on out that the Democrats are FUing, it's going to be Donald Trump's fault.
Exactly.
Just take my word for it.
Exactly. Okay, moving on ahead. Another missed headline that we had that had went on the night before that we somehow completely missed yesterday morning. We had another BLM riot. Call it what you want. It wasn't a peaceful gathering.
No, it was not. Rittenhouse. Now, I know you've heard about this for a couple days now. Rittenhouse was invited by Charlie Kirk from TPUSA and the Charlie Kirk Show, who hosted the event at the University of Memphis. Now, Rittenhouse shows up, does his 30 minutes, and leaves. And that's the statement that he gives on X. But the mainstream media and the BLM usurpers, or whatever you want to call them, they just want to start trouble all the time, made it seem like that they stopped him, that he was booed out of there, that he was booed off of the stage and he didn't finish his thing. So it became this really big deal. But we are here to debunk it. Everything that they're writing about is false. Rittenhouse himself has come out and said the headlines are wrong again. I wasn't booed off stage at the University of Memphis last night. The far left's attempt to intimidate me won't stop me from speaking with college students and sharing my story. And his story is so important to these college students. They need to hear the other side. And the colleges nowadays only teach left education. Well, that's it.
And that's why the voice on the right is so quiet on the colleges, is because they've been fear-mongered and they've been intimidated and they've been bullied. They need to know that there's a man like Kyle Rittenhouse out there who stood his ground and defended himself against this kind of bullshit that goes on. And those college students on those campuses need to know that you have a First Amendment right the same as they do.
Yes.
And you have a right to protect yourself against danger the same as they do.
Exactly.
And so the same as it was with the squatter, the little border crosser coming over wanting to threaten that he's going to come squat. Hey, man, we got the same rights as you think you do.
That's exactly right.
Man, I'm just telling you, we're going to start fighting fire with fire.
We really are. And, you know, I really have to give Kyle Rittenhouse and Charlie Kirk their due, because they don't come out against anything that the BLM activists are doing. You know, they just, hey, you need to correct this. I wasn't booed. I would always rather be on the good side than the bad side. I'm just telling you.
Yep.
You know, they are wrong all the time.
Never back down. That's
never back down.
That's my point with all this. Never back down.
I mean, and just for example, what happened yesterday evening, we couldn't even play a clip of it, of course, you know, because it's, you know, nothing but noise. But here we are being invaded in Texas every single day anyway. But now the invasion turned into a riot last night. You know, I'm just going to bring that up. I just can't believe it, that it's okay. And then they're going to pass this $7 trillion bill. You know, this is his budget for the next year. And that's what they want to spend on the border. But we're having riots down there.
Exactly.
You know, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just,
it's crazy.
I'm amazed. I look at it and I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I have been expecting it to happen. I am surprised it hasn't happened a couple of years ago when all those Haitians and everybody was under those bridges. Remember that?
I remember. Yep.
You know, and they had people everywhere, and not one riot, not one. Are you telling me there's not one anywhere?
Exactly.
Did they hide it? Did they?
Yeah.
You know, I you just don't know anymore what's
Yeah.
true and what's not.
The world is crazy. The world is crazy.
Even yesterday when I seen the video, me and you both had that conversation. Is this real?
Yeah.
We looked at it, and I didn't repost it at first because it looked old. It looked like an old film, didn't it?
It did.
You know, so we had to wait. We had to do the Bongino rule and wait a minute, you know, to find out. But Fox News, if you can believe them, is the only one that you can get the video from today. So it's obviously true, if you can believe Fox News.
Right. It's crazy. It's crazy. You want to keep moving with more crazy?
Yes.
Just like what we talked about the people need to stand up and fight back.
Mm-hmm.
The people of New York need to stand up and fight back.
They need to do something.
Man,
This is bad. You know, we've talked about it a couple of times, but we're here to update you also about the Donald Trump, Leticia James New York State AG, who's trying to bankrupt Trump. What I think is funny, before we go any further, we just got news that DWAC has merged with True Social today, and they have accepted the merger, which makes Trump's new platform, True Social, worth $6.1 billion today. So there are people out there. Thank you so much for stepping up. I knew this was fixing to happen. I didn't know when. I've been waiting for it because he was already making money because they were in talks.
right? Okay, here's the thing about this, and I'm applauding this. This is great news. This is awesome news. Now he can take care of his bond, right? Okay.
I don't know.
Well, we'll see.
How that
but I'm
works.
pretty sure this works in his favor.
It
As far
does
as
work
that
in
goes.
his favor. It makes
But-
him worth more.
But the point is, we're not all Donald Trump.
No.
The point is, we don't all have that money like Donald
No, we
Trump
don't.
has. But the point is, in the state of New York,
They shouldn't be able to steal his money
if
either.
they decide they can come after his and steal his money, guess what? They're going to come after they're going to come after another business. And once they do that, they're going to keep coming and keep coming. It's a bad thing starting. It's a bad precedent. Kevin O'Leary had this to say about it.
But more importantly, the message about the American brand. You think about America, the reason this is the #1 economy on earth is that we have laws and we have due process and we have property rights. It attracts foreign capital from all around the world. All of that is being shaken to the core here. The concept of seizing assets in 30 days on a bond number that's never been issued. No insurance bond company's ever issued anything near this, so there was no chance it was going to happen. And only giving 30 days notice and time, that's a really bad message. And I think New Yorkers should think well past Trump. Whether he's president or not, or whether this attorney general is gone in 4 years or not, it's irrelevant. This is case setting against the American brand. the most stable country on earth anywhere to put capital to work over a long period of time, particularly in real estate, is the United States of America. This is an assault on what we believe to be core. And I find it extraordinary. I think it's very troubling. It has absolutely nothing to do with Donald Trump at this point, in my view, and it is completely bipartisan. This is an attack on America. And I don't know how you can look at it any other way. And as an investor, and I know plenty of investors are completely disturbed by this, but I mean, no one is going to put any money to work in New York in these amounts until this thing settles down. The whole world is watching, and everybody's waiting for one thing we haven't got yet: adult supervision. Where is it? Where are the adults in this crazy narrative? Certainly there's got to be adult supervision at some point. And I understand, you know, the war going on here and all the political yada, yada, woof, woof, woof.
Right.
But we need an adult in the room now. This is the United States of America under siege.
Steve Bannon always talks about the buried lead in the stories. What do you think the buried lead in this story is? He didn't bury it. He brought it out, but they'll bury it. This effort by the New York Attorney General Leticia James, this effort right here is bipartisan. Think about this, and why I'm kind of going with this. I was thinking about this as he was saying this. He said that it's bipartisan. How many Republicans have stood up for Donald Trump in this case and spoke out publicly against it?
There's probably been one or two.
That's exactly correct. So that tells you the majority of those in D.C.
They're okay with that.
They're okay with it. They want to see this happen.
Yes.
I said earlier, you fight fire with fire, don't you? Mm-hmm. Here's my wish. Here's my plea. Here's my beg. There are 50 state attorney generals, right? And we know that we've had 15 or so that show solid support for Donald Trump.
Yes.
You know what we need? We need a brave state attorney general to come after the Bidens hard and heavy, like Paxton has done, but come after them in a criminal court. Quit going to these congressional hearings just to expose it and then do nothing. You want to fight fire with fire? Give him his presidential immunity. Give Joe Biden his presidential immunity. But criminally, go after James Biden. That $40,000, go after him.
Yeah, why isn't he brought up on charges?
That's exactly
he did
right.
Something that he was a foreign influencer. He was a foreign agent.
That's exactly correct.
Did he have his foreign agent license or whatever you're supposed to have to be foreign agent approved?
That's exactly correct. Go after him. What
about the wife?
What about the wife? That $40,000, if they have a joint bank account, then I guarantee you she knows $40,000 is flying into her account. She knows it.
Yes, she does. She's probably the one spending it.
What did she do about it?
Right. How come her name isn't in there?
Would that make her complicit?
Yes, that would make her complicit.
Could you criminally charge her? Could you criminally convict her of it, is what I'm asking.
I'm not really for sure. I'd have to look up the statutes on that and everything. But you know what? They could use it.
But that's exactly right.
There's a lot of things they could do that they don't do.
They could drag her in there to testify.
Yes.
And she's in a lose-lose situation there if you drag her in there to testify. She can refuse to testify against her spouse. Mm-hmm. She looks bad.
Yes.
She can come in there and lie for her spouse. She looks bad. She can come in there and tell the truth for her spouse. She looks bad. And the idea of complicity would come at her hard and heavy, man.
I agree. I agree that the Republicans are not fighting back to help Donald Trump in any of this. And so I get his frustration and I get his tweet or True Social post, you know, about this being unfair and a witch hunt and election interference. And then social media is going all out there with reporting he may go nuclear with the Chapter 11 bankruptcy. He might have to sell Mar-a-Lago. And by the way, why are they going to now say Mar-a-Lago is worth $240 million? And then during the court proceedings, it was only worth $18 million at the time? Something is wrong with this picture.
Chess versus checkers.
Exactly. That is true. It goes back to us saying chess versus checkers. And this is another thing. What we're talking about, how Republicans don't stand up. I mean, they play checkers, for example. I'm going to tell you the checker move, and you tell me if this is even a good one. The Representative Elise Stefanik has come out and wrote a harshly worded letter to the Ethics Committee about Leticia James. That's a checker move. It does nothing.
Exactly.
It does nothing. It does not even king.
Well, it doesn't capture a pawn. It does. What it does is moves you into position to do what? Get jumped again.
To get jumped on.
Exactly.
To be taken away.
Yep. The DWAC and Truth Social merger.
Yes.
And that does increase the value, and it increases Trump's value. Mm-hmm. That's still not a guarantee that he would have that bond money.
He would not have that money.
Here's a good point to bring out. Here's some good information for all our listeners. A lady on Twitter that goes by the handle of the Right Girl, this is good information for all of us. Mm-hmm. She said there has been a Give, Send, Go created for the New York judgment against Donald Trump now. She goes, I know many people were concerned about using the GoFundMe because of how they treated conservative campaigns in the past. Well, here you go, guys. Let's get donating. So there is a campaign fund. There is a fund set up for
Give, Send, Go. I'm glad they did change that because no one, conservative-wise, needs to use that other one.
Right. And she says on here that you can read all about the campaign once you click the link. We have to do something to combat the unjust New York judgment. If just 10% of Trump voters donated $65 each, we could cover it. Let's help Trump fight against this absurd judgment and the misuse of our justice system. We cannot expect him to fight for the future of our country alone and lose everything he worked for his entire life in this process. Let's show him that he's not alone. Because just like Kevin O'Leary warned us, just like President Trump has warned us over and over and over again, they're not coming for me. They're coming for you, and I'm in their way.
Before we close today, we want to update you on one particular article we had done earlier in the week. Remember on a previous show we brought you FDNY? It was going after Patriots who booed Leticia James. The FDNY put out a statement saying they have reversed course and will not be investigating these Patriots. I just want to ask you a question. Do you really believe them, or are they secretly investigating? You decide.
Is this thing working?
Rise up.
Well, hey, everybody, that's it for today. Thanks for listening, and I hope you've enjoyed the show. Hope you've learned some things about what's going on around us in the nation and in your communities. You know, we couldn't do this without your continued support either. We appreciate all of you showing up, taking the time to listen to us today. So please, like I say, make sure to hit the like button, share our show with all your friends. We'll see you next time on Is This Thing Working? And as always, I'm James, and that's my lovely co-host over there,
Denise.
And we'll see you next time.
We're out.